I've got the bins on, folks, because I've just heard something and I need to read you something out in a minute. I've got the old dog and bone here. I'm going to have to read it off that. Bit like Robert De Niro, I suppose. If you don't know what I'm on about, you've not seen the video. That's your own fault. No, see something on the news today. It's the trans school guidance. It's the guidance to schools and the headmasters, mistresses and the school teachers in general on how they treat children that are deciding they want to change gender. Anyway, what's been decided is this. If a kiddie comes into school as Morris, but during the course of the day wants to be referred to as Doris, then the teacher's got to tell the mother or father that the boy wants to be a girl. Or vice versa. You know, if they come into school wanting to be, you know, or they are Helen and they want to change into Hector, again, they've got to do the same thing. They've got to tell the parent. That's just in case the parent isn't aware of what the child wants to do. And I think, yeah, no problem with that at all. Anyway, I heard about the new school guidance, the trans school guidance. There's 4 points, 4 in the main. I'll read them out to you. And I thought, well, at last the government's done something half decent. Somebody with half a brain has put something together and they've took everything into consideration and I believe come up with some ideal scenarios and the right decisions. But then you hear it's got a 12-week consultation period. So what you're going to get is all the do-gooders, all them that think they're doing good for others and aren't necessarily so, and all the trans lobbyists, they're all going to get involved and no doubt these things aren't going to go through for all the government's recommending them. But anyway, this is what the government is saying. Point 1. We don't have to I've got that wrong. I'll just read point 1 as it's written. Request to change a child's pronouns can be declined. I think this is where they've got to go them, this, they and all that palaver. So if they ask for any of that, the teachers can say no. We're just going to call you boy or girl, Mr. or Mrs, John or Janet, Janet and John, whichever it may be. That's number 1. Number 2. Single-sex changing rooms and toilets must be provided. I'm assuming that means toilets for girls that are and were girls, toilets for boys that are and were boys. There'll be no crossing over. I'm guessing that's what it is. And if that's the case, then rightly so. Children who want to change gender banned from contact sport with the opposite sex. I should think so too, especially heavily contact sports like your rugby and whatever else. You don't want a bloke of 13 or 14 stone, for all he might have been 9 or 10 years of age, crashing into a young girl of about 5 stone, do you? No, it's a recipe for disaster, a hospital visit and maybe even death. Is that what it's going to take just to make sure that these policies get put through? Right, single-sex schools can refuse people of the different biological sex. So if it's an all-boys school and a girl comes in wanting to be a boy, they can say no to that. I'm not so sure all the boys of the school would mind, but it's not right, is it? No, of course it's not right. But at the other end of the coin is you don't want them all girls' schools with a boy coming in there, especially when they're not only 8 now, maybe when they're 11, 12 and 13, and the thing that should be pointing south ends up pointing east or west. You don't want that. You don't want that at all. That is a recipe for disaster. No, we don't want that at all. So, they're the 4 points. Let's see if they get voted through. It's in a consultation phase. It's going to take 12 weeks. I, for one, hope everything there goes through. I bet you any one of these trans lobbyists get it all stopped. I bet they do. I bet they get it stopped in the tracks. Who wants to be a teacher calling somebody them, this or that, or they, or any of that palaver? It's just unbelievable, isn't it? What's happened to this world that we're living in at the moment? I wish somebody could tell me, because I'm at a loss. A complete and utter loss. Mind you, many of you are the younger ones, and these trans lobbyists will say, I'm just an old fogey. I'm a boring old git. I'm both of those things. I hope some of you say I'm a right grumpy old git. I'd like to be that. That's all I aim to be, and I am. I'm grumpy when I hear about all these things having to be passed and whatever. They shouldn't even be discussed. They should be happening anyway. This shouldn't be up for discussion. The world's going mad, man. Absolutely mad.